artists. So today I'm going to be showing you how to take two-dimensional objects like a 2D square or a 2D circle and then taking it to make it look like it's three-dimensional using value and shape. So here we go. So the first thing here I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to create a three-dimensional, taking a 2D square and taking it to a three-dimensional cube and then adding in some value to really make it look like it's three-dimensional and it has a shadow. So the first thing I've done here is I've just drawn a square on my piece of paper. And then what I'm going to do with that square is I'm going to be using a ruler since I'm drawing upside down. You can do this with a ruler or with your freehand. But what you're going to do is to make it a cube, all you need to do is add some diagonal lines going back in space. If I were to imagine that I had a vanishing point somewhere over here off my page, all those lines would converge together. They would come together to my vanishing point. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw just a line kind of going backwards here. If I draw it very, very lightly, it doesn't really matter how far it goes back. Taking this line, I'm going to kind of move my ruler up or kind of make the same angle of line coming off this corner, off this square right here. I'm going to do it lightly all the way back. And then again, I have to do it to this other corner back here. And I'm going to take it back even further, right back here. Then what I can do is my lines for the back parts of this cube still have to be straight. They have to be parallel. So this line here will be parallel to the front line. So I'm just going to move this back just a little bit. And I'm going to add a parallel line over. The same thing with this one. I'm going to add a parallel line over. Now my two back here should match up. So this corner here where I've drawn should match up with my parallel line this way. And these two lines here are perpendicular. Alright, then I can erase those lines going back. And I now have my cube. I'm going to fix this line. It's not quite where I want it. There it is. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to imagine that I have a light source, that I have a light shining on my cube here, and so if I have a light shining down on my cube, maybe it's coming from this direction here. I'm going to show you in colored pencil. You could use this in just regular pencil as well, but I'm going to show you how to use value to make this look really, really real. So here I have some value here with my orange. I have my mid-tone here, which is just straight orange, and then I have some lighter oranges and then some oranges with some black in it to create a shade. And the first thing I want to do, if my light's coming down, then I know that this part up here will be the lightest value, and this part down here will be my mid-tone. My back part where my light is on the opposite side of will be my darkest tone. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to color in with my mid-tone first. That way I can get a good idea of what my pressure is going to be. A lot of times with colored pencil, when you're doing lighter tones, the easiest way to add in lighter tones is just to make lighter pressure or do lighter pressure. Sometimes the white in colored pencil, if you add white to a color with colored pencil, it doesn't like to show up. So I'm going to go ahead and get my mid-tone in here. Remember, I can always add color to it, so if I found that this was too light of pressure, then I could always go back and add more, but I can't really take away. Alright, then for my top here, I know that I need this part to be lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add less pressure here and make it super light, less pressure I hold my colored pencil all the way at the top when I'm doing really, really light pressure. It helps me control how much pressure I'm using. I want to make sure that I'm still getting, even though it's really light, I want to make sure I'm still getting a fairly even coat of this colored pencil all the way around. All right, now for a darker tone. My light, if it's coming down this way, is going to have, this side of my cube is going to be the darkest side. It's going to have a shade on it. Shade is when you add black to a color, black to a color. And you can do this with any medium. If you add your if you add black paint to another color, then you would again get a shade. You can add black to oil pastel, add black to a color of chalk pastel. Anytime you add any black to a color in any medium, you are going to get a shade. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my orange, I'm going to lay down my orange in this side of my square here, or my cube. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some black. I want to do lightly, lightly, very lightly. I can always darken it later. Like if I didn't use enough pressure, I can always go back over it again, but I cannot take away. I can always add more, but I cannot take away. I want to make sure that I'm getting pretty even coat of black on here. All right, and then I feel like I need to even this out a little bit with a little bit more orange. Just like that. All right, now my block is starting to have some dimension to it. I can tell that there is a light source somewhere. If I wanted to keep going with this, what I'd do is I'd go ahead and I'd add a shadow. So if my light's coming this way, then I would have a shadow coming off of it this direction. So I'm going to kind of imagine here that my shadow is coming off here and it's hitting, the lightest part is hitting the top here and it's kind of coming off. So my lines for my shadow are actually going to come this direction and they're going to go off the page. And then I might also have a lighter shadow over this direction. The darkest part of my shadow is going to be right at the base of the cube here. So this is where I'm going to actually add some black to it. And then as we get closer out, then I'm going to add less and less and less. It's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. So as I move out a direction, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. The darkest part is going to be at the base, and then it's just going to get lighter. Because it's a square, it's going to be a flatter shadow. Just kind of like that. And then I would just do a lighter shadow over this direction. Happy creating!